show us stuff. I'm going to talk to us about stress management over the holidays and different things we can do.
Perfect. Then as an intro, I wanted to ask again, how long have you been doing fitness, personal training?
So I have been in fitness for 30 years. I've been doing this for a really, really long time. And the interesting thing is the first 16 years of my career, I did everything you and everybody else thinks you need to do to be super fit. And not only did it not work, and did I end up just tired, grumpy, unhappy, not eating foods I like, and whatever, I gained 25 pounds. Like, it went the wrong way, doing all the right things, And I remember I was I had a new client, and it was a celebrity client. So I was like, oh my God, I really want to do well for this guy. And I remember staring at the wall going, this does not work. I was sitting there trying to create this calories in, calories out, and all the and creating the program like we do. And I went, this does not work. This has not worked for me. It has not worked for any one of my clients for a sustained period of time. It'll get people somewhere, but everybody's white knuckling it. We're all holding on to like the plan, and there's no room for life. There's no room for fun. And I find it to actually add stress. And Jaren, you're recording this, right? So that we can share. So that was the worst part about it. And I think one of the reasons it really didn't work for people for the long haul was that factor, the stress factor. So two things. One, I decided to guinea pig myself. I threw caution to the wind, and I created a program for myself where I did less. I did less of everything, like less of my workouts. I ate all the foods. But there's a strategy to it, obviously. And I shrunk. I couldn't believe it. After all these years, first 16 years of my career, doing everything, like I'm telling you, I can't even tell you. I'm telling you, I can't even tell you. So you get it. And so then I started guinea pigging whichever of my clients would trust me, that less really could be more. And the ones that would trust and take the leap of faith did so well and sustained it and really enjoy their life. They enjoy all the foods. They are fit, they're strong, and most importantly, they are not as stressed. And then this became the interesting thing I really added on to the work I do over the last couple of years. So I do this all online with people now. Everybody shifted their business during the pandemic, and I had a huge in-person business here in Los Angeles, but I was already trying to figure out, well, how do I get this out to the masses? How do I, make this available to everybody? And I have created that over time. But during that period of time of the pandemic, with my kids home and with shifting my business and whatever, I, for the first time in my life, started to experience anxiety like other people experience it. I'm not a anxious person. I'm not a fearful person. I will just dive in and figure it out, and I'm generally very optimistic. Boy, I had the same things happening that so many people struggle with, where I was waking up in the night. What if this, what if that, your brain, or replaying mistakes I made, or, feeling just dumping on myself for, feeling like a failure because I couldn't get things going fast enough, or all the things we do to each other, right? We do to ourselves. And just a lot of worry. And that stress was really chipping away at my and how I felt, both physically and obviously mentally. That would come across. So what I really started to do was study the brain the same way I've studied the body for all these years. And I started to understand literally what is happening to us when we're stressed out. What is the problem? Like what part of our brain is like, blah, 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 and what's not happening. And I have literally created exercises for the brain the same way I've spent 30 years creating exercises for the body. And to me, stress management and feeling your best every day and living your best life isn't about, there's all this emphasis on calm. We don't need calm or just to try to calm ourselves down. We need resilience. We actually need strength. We need to train our brains to be strong, the same way we train our bodies to be strong. And a strong brain creates calm all the time. Life is always going to throw stuff at us. It's how strong is your brain? How resilient is your brain to be able to create calm in chaos without some external source, without needing to like go into a quiet room and light 7 candles and hold some crystals and put on the calm app. Like, you know, like that's just not going to happen. So I started adding brain training into what I do. And that is what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a physical thing you can do to help yourself. I'm going to show you a food thing you can do to help yourself. We're going to talk about some of those brain training strategies.
I love it. Thank you for that intro. That's perfect. We're live in our Facebook group, RX Movement and Mobility. We'll have a replay here. I'm excited to bring in Andrea Marcellus to you. She's got a world of experience, as you've already heard. And let's dive right in.
Okay, so awesome. So one of the first things I like to encourage my clients to do, and this is like, I walk the walk. I do this every day of my life at some point when I'm working at my desk, is what's called a moving meditation. That might take, I might have 1 minute to spend on it. I might have 5. I'm going to walk you through, say, a 5-minute moving meditation. And so a lot of people are not meditators, but the point of meditation is to be able to turn off the fear and anxiety center of your brain, turn on the parts of your brain that are curious, that create positive possibility, that wonder, and that are open to possibility, and to create a really good energy, you know, not anxious energy, which pulls us down, but good energy that helps us fly. And one of the ways to be able to do this is just breath and movement. So since I have extreme knowledge of the body, what I like to do is also undo the tightness that comes from sitting all day. So I create movement patterns that undo what happened to us when we sit, and couple that with things that are going to open your mind. Okay, so let's understand 2 things. When we sit all day, we end up like this. And I have every certification under the sun. I'm an advanced level Pilates instructor, and I end up sitting like this, just like you do. So we have to undo that. What happens is your hip flexors get really tight, and they're weak too. It's the worst combination. It's called hypertonic, tight and weak, bad deal. Okay, so we need to undo that. So this pelvis that's putting pressure on the lower back can be back in a neutral alignment. And then our chest muscles become hypertonic as well, tight and weak. They pull in because we do this all day. And then we're in this position. It creates a strain in the muscles between the shoulder blades and this muscle right here, your upper trapezius, that you wish somebody would come just put their thumbs there for you to help you out. We're going to undo that. And then this chin goes up because we're pulled down, but we need to see, well, that shortens the back of the neck, and that makes that really tense too. And we need to be in this alignment to feel comfortable. So what we're going to do is a little movement series to put us back in that alignment. So the first thing we're going to do, imagine this is your desk, or you could do this at your kitchen counter, is what I call desk down dog. So like from yoga, so you're going to take your hands out, leave your knees slightly bent. We'll deepen the abdominals, and you're just going to pull your hips back and let your chest drop through your arms to where you can. And then you're just going to come up to a stand, a full stand. That's going to use your glutes to stand you up, and keep your knees bent, drop down. This is your inhale, and then exhale up. And as you start to warm up, you're going to feel your chest starting to open, the front of the shoulder, the anterior deltoid, and your pectoral muscles are going to release in this position. And then we stand and we release the shoulders a little bit more. And we're going to go inhale and exhale. And as we connect this breath to the movement, so you can do this with me or just watch, it's going to be 10 more. Inhale, exhale. Let's go 2 and exhale. Each time those knees are bent, because even if you're a flexible person, you're not warm right now. And we want to just not overstretch the hamstrings, but we want to open them up. That's the back of the leg, the back of the thigh. They get very tight from sitting, and that leads to lower back pain. And that, along with these hip flexors, pulls your pelvis out of alignment, and that's where we're getting all that low back and hip pain from. Let's go. 2 more. I think we're at about 10. Last one, rest. Roll your shoulders back and down. Check in. And if you just check in for a moment, you're going to feel your heart rates come up a bit, and you feel your body starting to buzz. That's that oxygenation. This took tons of muscles firing. They needed a lot of oxygen. And just from oxygenating your cells, just from oxygenating these muscles in your body, you feel differently already mentally. You feel an energy. You could do just that one exercise and get on with your day. Sometimes I do, but I'm going to give you more. So we're going to open the hip flexor next. And this one is a really big deal. So sitting at your desk or on your chair, all you're going to do, let me see if I can make sure that you can see me, is sit here, sit up tall. You're going to turn to one side and take one leg back. Now I'm still sitting on my chair, and all I'm going to do is circle this arm. We're going to go inhale, exhale, connect the breath. 2, inhale, exhale, 3, inhale, exhale, 4, inhale, exhale, 5. We're going to do 3 more. Every time, be sure to pull the arm down using that muscle in your back. Pull the arm down, and one more, pull the arm down. By activating that, we help to create space in the neck between the bottom of the ear and the top of the shoulder, and you'll start to feel looser. Turn to the other side. You're going to just sit on your chair, take that leg back, and it's up on my toe. I don't know if you can see, and then we're going to circle the arm. Inhale, exhale. 8, inhale, exhale, 7. Again, I'm using that trap, that your lat. We're using that lat muscle in your back to pull the arm down every time. My arm is being pulled down by my back. And by activating that, the chest automatically has to release. The body works in opposition. If you activate one side, the other side releases. And that's one of the beautiful things. Okay, so we're starting to feel a little warmer already. Here's the next one in this moving meditation. You're going to take a breath. Inhale. We're going to lift the chest. Sit up as tall as you can. Exhale. Chin to your chest and give yourself a hug. You're opening up in the chest, or opening up in the upper back and between the shoulder blades. And now we're going to sit up tall again. Inhale and exhale. And what we're going to do is take the spine into a little bit of an arc here. We're lifting up a little bit of arc in the back. And now exhale, a little bit of a C shape in the back. Deepen your abdominals. And again, inhale up and exhale down. Good. And inhale your chest up and exhale down. And one more. Let's inhale up and exhale down and rest. Okay, you're starting to feel now, most likely, you're starting to feel, again, your brain shifting. Do you notice that, Jaren, that like, wow, there's all this energy and I've hardly done anything?
Endorphins are flowing too.
Right. It's an amazing thing. So we're recentering. It's really, really cool. The combination of breath and movement. And now we'll do one more right here. So you're just going to stand wherever you're at, your desk or wherever. We'll do 2 more. We're going to do a little desk push-up. So you're just going to hold yourself halfway down. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push up. Keep holding this plank. Your abs are deep, so we're getting a little core stability work here. The legs are tight. And now let's go down again. Hold. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Press up. And we're going to do it again now. Isometric contraction. This is an isometric contraction for your chest. Why are we using it? It builds pure strength. The fastest, safest way to build strength. Push up. And we're cold, so we don't want to overdo it, but also feel how much energy you generate, how much these demand on your heart and lungs this is to hold yourself here. Push up. It's a lot of work. So even though we're not doing a plank push-up on the floor, we're getting a ton of work out of this just by holding. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. If you just stood at your desk, just kind of doing some desk push-ups, they don't mean nearly as much. They're not as challenging. But I'm somebody that can do a lot of push-ups, but if I hold here, well, I can only do so many of these because we exhaust this muscle group without having to like change our clothes and go to the gym and make a big deal out of it. But also, most importantly, what's happening? Our brain shifting. We're generating energy. We're feeling positive. And there is something about when you feel your own strength, this is life right here. This is life where you're in this position and you feel like I have to stop, but I can hold a few more seconds. And then you make yourself hold even a few more seconds. Then you think, well, that's life. Life just piles on and piles on. And when you think you don't have enough left and you think you can't hold a little bit longer, guess what? You always can hold a little bit longer. The mind always quits before the body needs to. And you just ask a little more of yourself and you just keep breathing and you don't over respond. You don't respond at all. You don't let your face do anything. You don't do anything. You keep breathing and breathing and breathing and you hold this position. And then when you finally absolutely positively have to, or your timer for 90 seconds or 60 seconds or whatever it is goes off, you press yourself up and you've done a couple of things. One, you felt your own power. There's nothing more empowering during the day than physically feeling your own power. You are stronger than you know. You just have to put yourself in a position to feel it. And instantly that'll give you a lift no matter what's happening in your day. And then secondly, this is the brain training moment. You just taught yourself to stop over responding to stress. So to your brain, stress is stress. It doesn't matter if it's physical stress from a workout, oh my God, these are heavy weights, or it's, emotional stress from I'm disagreeing with my partner or my roommate or whatever, and we are never going to see eye to eye on this point. And we just keep going at each other and it really hurts, or it's the guy that cuts you off in traffic and it's the holiday season. And what are you doing? Like, can't you just be nice? And you almost clipped my car, and like all these things that set us off, right? That we might not be our best self in responding. Well, by practicing something like this every day, and it could be any position, it could be a squat position. I often teach it like this, to hold what's called a chair pose from yoga. You're sitting back in a chair, you take your arms up. This is very, very challenging. You pull your stomach in, you just try to hold. And what we try to do is not over respond. And you set a timer. And you try to wait for 60 seconds or 90 seconds, challenge yourself, and you challenge yourself just to breathe while you do it. And what you're doing is training your brain that, hey, I can be in a super stressful situation and I can be okay. I can breathe through it. I don't have to respond. I don't have to get upset. I don't have to grunt and groan and I don't have to do anything. I'm in charge. And look, I'm going to get out of it. It's not going to be forever. It's all right. And by training yourself a little bit every day, if in a physical way, to deal with stress, it will translate to your life. I swear to goodness. And this is one of the biggest things. This is actually a Pilates and yoga concept, but when you just kind of make it a part of your day every day, where you just energize a little bit at your desk, plus you do the brain training, you change over time. And you really, really become somebody who can handle an enormous amount of challenge or circumstances thrown at you that you weren't expecting. It's pretty cool.
I love the resilience training and that principle of maintaining calm as you challenge yourself in a very controlled environment, because there are so many times where we are, the stresses are outside of our control. But here you're training yourself with your own control, that resilience.
Yeah, it's super huge. And it's like, and the most important thing is like, so my expertise is fitness for busy people. I have no time. I'm running a company. I have 2 kids. I have a dog. I got a puppy. I'm 50 years old. That was the dumbest decision ever. Like, I think what's so helpful about me as a fitness expert is I am not running 5 miles a day and squeezing my own almond milk. Like, I am struggling along with time, just like everybody else. And these strategies can get some of your fitness work in throughout the day. Really gives you a metabolic boost as well. We haven't even talked about that, but just in terms of keeping your metabolism up so your body is burning fat no matter what you do, these are little strategies to do that, as well as train your brain to stop over responding to stress. And a brain that is able to deal with stress and not shoot out so much adrenaline and cortisol, and a body that's constantly supercharged to be burning fat for fuel throughout the day and needing more fuel just because you gave yourself a little burst, well, that's a body that's going to be leaner, stronger, and living a happier life with a better perspective. What more could you want?
No, that's perfect. And a lot of people aren't catching on how powerful your metabolism is in just your health, but also in weight
Yeah.
management.
Hugely important. And that, it's really interesting because it's within your control. It's so much easier to spark your metabolism. This is what I specialize in, than what is advertised out to you. It doesn't now. Jaren's a CrossFitter. A lot of people in this community are CrossFitters, and those are really, really challenging workouts. But you might, on off days, you don't have to fear that, oh, I'm taking too much of a rest or something. If you have these other strategies in place where you're letting yourself know, no, I'm working on something else today, I'm resting, but I can still give myself this metabolic boost throughout the day. I can still be working towards my goals, and I'm training my brain and my metabolism to stay operating at a really high frequency, where life is really going to open up for me. And that's what's super cool.
I love it. I love it. And I love the posture exercises because
Huge.
as a sports chiropractor in the clinic, I see so many problems in people's joints and muscles because of that chronic sitting posture.
Yeah.
And it has short-term pain, but also there are long-term chronic issues that develop.
Absolutely. Huge, huge deal. And boy, it only takes, as we saw, a minute throughout the day, and you're killing so many birds with one stone. You're avoiding chronic issues related to posture, plus helping your metabolism, plus, literally helping your brain, which is great. So let's move into how we can help ourselves nutritionally a little bit. Here is one of my favorite superfood snack recipes. And I'm just going to move my camera in a little closer. When I do my food videos, this is what we do. So, oops, let's just try to be here for a second. Okay, there you can see okay. So, in the holiday season, now I am a fan, and what I teach people to do in my Shape Up Body Mind program is how to make super fast superfood recipes. I mean, we have to use air quotes in my recipes and that are on my Anlife app because it's like tossing together 3 foods you have in your fridge. You just don't realize how beneficial they are. And once I tell you, then you go, oh, okay. And then you'll do that. And it's much faster than ordering anything or stopping in the line at Starbucks even, or whatever it is. So, but I prefer real foods. However, in sometimes a busy time, especially the holiday time, sometimes a little shake or something, or a smoothie, or, well, I'm not a huge fan of smoothie. There's too much fruit usually in them, but too much sugar. But something that's kind of a shake or I call this a latte, can be a really, really great alternative to get you through. We don't want to skip meals. That's one of the most important things to keeping your brain in gear and to keeping your metabolism going. So this is one of my favorite, and it's a holiday one. It's my peppermint mocha superfood latte. And all it is a plant-based milk. We want to use a plant-based milk. Now, I'm a dairy person. I will totally drink dairy milk. I love it. But I find for myself that it is inflammatory. Now, all dairy foods are inflammatory. I eat cheese. So instead of drinking whole milk, I will eat cheese a little bit in my life, and I will drink plant-based milks for this kind of a thing, for a latte. Every person needs to figure out what works best for them. I prefer oat milk or hemp milk because they have some protein in them. Sometimes dietitians will not prefer these because they're oats, because they come from a grain, are a little higher in sugar. So if you have diabetes or something, you want to check with your doctor. Tends to mitigate that, but it's something to ask. You know what I mean? In this case, we're going to be adding protein to it anyway, so it doesn't matter. So, and I'm a fan. Okay, so what you're going to do is take 1 cup of your plant-based milk. We want that for the anti-inflammatory effects of it, as opposed to dairy. And then we're going to add 2 things. We're going to add collagen. Now, again, I prefer real food. I prefer to get protein from grass-fed beef, chicken, high quality meats, or from you can get it from beans. And I prefer a lot of nuts and seeds. Really helpful, especially chia seeds, flax seeds, any nuts you like. That's what we really want in our diet, nut butters. But sometimes we need a little extra boost for CrossFitters who are really trying to create hypertrophy. That means, that muscle development. you definitely need to add protein because nobody can eat that much, like for what you need to create the effect you're trying to get. So the thing about collagen is you want to make sure that it's from a really, really good source, because if the animals are not from, say, an organic farm, there can be chemicals, heavy metals in the earth that these animals get into them when they eat and they graze, and we're eating the parts of the animals that would hold on to those heavy metals, and you don't want to be introducing heavy metals into your diet. So don't cheap out on collagen powder. There's other places to save, but make sure you get a high quality. I use Vital Proteins. Just kind of look into it. Whole Foods, they tend to have, better quality stuff. This isn't necessarily something you want to grab at Costco unless you look it up and see, what the company was that made it. Okay, that's just my little tip for the day. I'm not getting any money from Vital Proteins. It's just whatever it is. So I use 2 scoops of this. I happen to know I have exactly 2 scoops of powder left in here, so I'm just going to dump it in. But it's 2 scoops I'm using, or you could use 1. And in this, it's giving me, let me make this it's 10 grams of protein per. So this is going to be a 20 grams of protein in this for me. And what protein is going to do for us is keep us from having sugar cravings, which is especially important at the holiday time when there's so many cookies around. I'm a big fan of go ahead and eat the cookies, but we want portion control. And the way to help with portion control is always eating a protein or a fat whenever you're having the cookies. Or, throughout the day, keeping your protein and your good fats up. And then the other thing we're going to add into this is cacao. Not cocoa, cacao powder. Cacao powder, like cousin of cocoa, but super, super high in antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, polyphenols. And what I like about this brand, Joya, and I do actually have a coupon code for this for folks, is that it has adaptogens in it. Adaptogens are from certain plants, especially mushrooms. And those are phytochemicals that literally go to the part of your brain that deals with stress and helps develop that part of your brain and activate it. Adaptogens like kind of activate your body's ability to handle stress. So I'm a 50-year-old woman. Not only do I have stress, I have like perimenopausal issues. So if anybody on here is like, oh, my temperament is just like things hurt more than they do, or I feel things more. Hey, let's keep it real. This is what I turn to if I'm like, wow, why am I emotional for no reason? Super, super helpful stuff like this, deeply based in science. I'm not offering you crystals and hope. This is real stuff. And so that's why I prefer this brand. We try to maximize time. We try to maximize every dollar. And so if I'm going to be buying a product and I can get 2 great things in it instead of just 1, that's what we're going to do. So for this, it's just 1 teaspoonful, and this is a little bit to taste. I know I like about 2 teaspoons, so I'm going to add that. And then that's the chocolate flavor. And then you're going to take peppermint extract, very strong. So you really only need 1 to 2 drops. And then you're going to use stevia. Stevia and monk fruit are your 2 top choices for plant-based sweeteners that have 0 impact on your insulin. They have 0 impact on you, and they're very sweet. So this is ground plant leaves. It's a very sweet leaf, stevia, and I only use a half a packet. It is sweeter than sugar. It's way sweeter than sugar. So give it a try, and you have to find what works for you. And we're going to give this a little whisk. Try not to get it all over my white shirt because we don't want any wardrobe drama in this event today. It takes about 2 seconds. And then what I have here is my mocha latte. Now, if you want, and you really want to make it mocha, you can add a shot of espresso to this, or on your Keurig, you could put it on the smallest cup setting. Sometimes I'll add a shot of decaf. Or if it's the afternoon and I'm giving myself a little extra coffee, I can add that in too. Or I'll just have it plain like this. Now, I want to show you one other thing. Sometimes what I do is I have a little jar like this. I have 2 kinds. This one is about 2 cups, and I have these that are about 1 cup. They're ball jars off of Amazon. I buy these lids. They come in multiple colors, and I buy them, the plastic lids, because I like colors. That's the only reason. And the thing is, you can literally just make this in this fill it to here, put those other ingredients on top, maybe give it a stir, close the lid. Hey, guess what we're going to do? Shake it. Guess what? You're done, and take that on the road with you. So you can absolutely just, you know what? I'm going somewhere after this. So here's going to be my snack this afternoon. How great is that? Easy to take along, superfood snack you made. And what did this cost? I don't know. Not a lot. Certainly less than anything you were going to get standing in the line at Starbucks. So again, superfood for your body, for your metabolism. We are avoiding, there's very low sugar in here, and we are full of protein, beneficial fats. This oat milk has a beneficial fat in it. So we're giving our body everything we need to avoid sugar cravings and to keep our metabolism going. And at the same time, we have those powerful adaptogens for our brain. This is full of antioxidants, anti-inflammatories. We're doing good things for ourselves. And just knowing the goodness in this, here's what else happens. Your brain releases dopamine. Your brain releases dopamine anytime we achieve something. If you set out to say, I'm going to give myself a healthier snack, you actually make it and do it. It's a little check mark in your brain about you showing up for yourself, and that will release dopamine. That's one of your 4 happy hormones, and you'll feel better. So you heard Jaren talk about the endorphins we got from anytime we get our heart rate up. Your body releases endorphins, one of your happy hormones. Well, anytime you do something good for yourself, like I'm going to make myself take 30 seconds to put these things together and shake a jar, and now I have a healthy snack. Well, your body's going to release dopamine as well and really help you stay in a positive mood throughout the day.
I love how fast that was. If you guys have any questions for Andrea while she's here with us, go ahead and
pop them
in the comments here, or some people are live. I'm watching the feed on Facebook. Put them in the comments there. So many people in this season, I love this strategy for nutrition because so many people are so busy and stressed out, they're skipping meals.
And meals. Like, which is the worst strategy. Skipping meals and grazing are the 2 things that pack on the most pounds, believe it or not, right? So in my world, in the Shape Up Body Mind program, which is customized for each person, but what I do is I teach people how to eat on a schedule of every 2 to 4 hours based on how their life works. We figured out, but also in an amount that I call energy appropriate, just enough to get you from meal to meal. And what happens is you start to have a really strong conversation between your stomach and your brain, and your stomach telling you I'm hungry, your brain telling you I'm full, and you get really excellent at portion controlling because you have your hormones in gear to help you say, oh, I've actually had enough. And by eating on this schedule and not grazing in between, your stomach has a chance to expand and contract, but it never totally stretches out. And we don't want a super stretched out stomach. We want a stomach that's just like, okay, this much food is satisfying for me. And then it goes back to here. And when I eat again, this much food is satisfying. What happens if you skip is that you get over hungry, you get past it. Then when you sit down to eat, the floodgates are open and you need this much food to make you feel satisfied. Well, that doesn't digest well. That leads to tons of digestive issues because remember, your stomach is where digestion starts. In my book, it's called The Way In. You could look it up. I talk about the stomach like a washing machine. It doesn't matter how much money you spend on your washing machine and all the bells and whistles and the steam function and the super cleaner and the whatever and the best soap you have. If you overstuff it, the soap is not getting all the way around on those clothes. They are not getting rinsed and spun well. And when you take them out, they are not as clean and they are not as fresh as if you had loaded it just enough, not stuffed it, right? So think of your stomach that way. Now that I gave you that picture, you'll never forget it. And we want to eat to where, okay, our stomach can function at its absolute best, jumble up our food, start to break it down with the enzymes, and your digestion, so many digestive problems are literally fixed just by eating what I call energy appropriate portions of food and figuring out what that is for you, not overstuffing your stomach and eating regularly enough that that food is satisfying, so that you don't feel like, okay, I'm like, nobody here's a farmer is my guess. So we don't need to load ourselves up because you're going to be out in the middle of the field with nothing all day.
But so many of us get on that schedule where we feel like, I don't have time to eat. So I love this strategy. My question about this specific drink is
So good.
how long does it last before it starts to kind of go bad? If if you're kind of sipping on it or setting it
Oh,
down throughout the day.
well, I'm a fan of eat your food. We're eating at a time. So we want to eat like an eating time is 20 to 30 minutes, right? Even if you're eating out to dinner, you might, the actual eating time is probably 20 to 30 minutes. You want to take that time to really enjoy your food or whatever. This is because it's a plant-based milk that I'm telling you to use, there's nothing in here that's really going to go bad, even if, say, it got warm, like a little bit warm over time. But I wouldn't be sipping on this. I think of this as a snack. I'm eating my snack within this period of time, and then in 20 minutes or so, I'll drink this or whatever. Food for me never lasts that long. Like when I'm ready to eat, like bye. But you get the idea. You want to eat, and then you're leaving that space in between.
I love it. I love it. Perfect. That's good advice. I
Yeah.
love the adaptogens that you shared about and helping us deal with stress. I mean, we don't talk enough about how much nutrition affects our ability to cope with stress. So I love how you gave us movement strategies that have a huge impact on our brain training dealing with stress, and as well as nutrition.
Yeah, really important. And I'll leave you with one quick way to when you really do need to recenter, when you're some days we have days, and I've had a lot of them this whole fourth quarter. I got to be honest, it's been a really tough period of time. I've had, like, my family, 2 people had COVID, 2 people had the flu, 2 surgeries, 2, I'm like, oh my goodness, how much, I mean, and I run a business, we all have these times in life. You guys have this too. And somehow I'm supposed to be Santa as well. I had a lot of presents. Like, how do you keep going when you feel like the walls are closing in and you're going down your to-do list and it keeps getting longer? Like, how is this, like, we all have these times. So one of the ways is by giving yourself an activity where it's a balance plus a coordinated movement plus breath. Okay, so when you're stressed out, what happens is your amygdala starts shooting out adrenaline and cortisol. And this is its own separate conversation. But that's what I call kind of the back of your brain. I'll call that the back of your brain. It gets all lit up and you start worrying. And it's either because you're afraid you won't have enough of something because of scarcity or threat. And it's like, threat in this day and age isn't, oh, that's a lion, I better run, or it's a burning building. Most of us, that's not happening. But it's like a threat to your ego. Like, I'm not going to be able to do a good job, or I'm failing as a mom, or I'm going to, this project isn't going to get done, or I'm not going to make enough money this month, or these things that affect our ego, right? And scarcity is like, okay, I'm not going to have enough time, I'm not going to have enough money, or I'm not going to have enough energy. These tend to be our biggest fears that set off our amygdala. And to reset that, what you want to do is activate what I call positive brain centers. You don't need to remember the science of this all, but if you do something as simple as this, and I'm going to give you one more little thing. Yeah, I put this here because my jeans blend into my cabinet when I do these events. And I figured out that people kind of need to see me. Okay, so just try to balance. And all you're going to do is inhale your leg in one direction, exhale your leg in the other. And some people are really flexible and strong, and you can go way across and way out, like however this is for you. Some people might be kind of keeping a hand on a counter and just try to just gently, just what you need, but inhale and exhale. What you want to do is, let's take it 2 counts across. Inhale here, 1, 2, and exhale open. 1, 2, 3, 4. And so we'll inhale for 2 and we'll exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And so if you can really balance and just hold your hands in namaste, a prayer pose from yoga, and then exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fine. And if you have to hold on, that's fine too. And then take it open. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now let's switch. So switch to the other side. So give yourself a moment, find your balance, find your place in this. And then when you're ready, connect that breath. We're going to inhale 2 counts. The leg comes across the body. And then we'll exhale. Open it to whatever that means to you. Doesn't have to be a big deal. And it's inhale. And it's exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. And try to stretch out that breath. So inhale is easy. That exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. And again, inhale and exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. And one more, please. Here we go. Inhale and exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. And rest. And now take stock. So what I usually do when I do this is I ask people right before they do that to think of something super stressful that is on their plate right now. And by the time we finish that, and I ask you to go back and think of something, that stressful thing again, it feels different. So I'll just ask you to check in with yourself right now. Like, how do you feel right now? Because most likely what you feel is a calm energy. So we talked about that calm. This is calm. Calm doesn't mean I'm vegging in front of Netflix and I'm just receptive and life's just coming at me. Calm is I'm available. I'm energized and available. What's next? And then I'm ready. And that's what we're looking for, right? And what you did in that exercise is you shut off the amygdala of your brain to accomplish a movement. So for you to accomplish a coordinated, balanced movement with a breath thoughtfully put to it. So we said 2 counts this way, 4 counts that way. This is the inhale, this is the exhale. What that does is activates 3 of your brain centers, your prefrontal cortex, your hippocampus, and your cerebellum. When they're all active, guess what can't be happening? Your amygdala can't be active. The brain can't multitask. Believe it or not, there's no such thing as multitasking. It's that we focus. We focus too fast. But what we did is we focused. And we trained ourselves to just focus. And in that time, that was this precious safety release valve where we stopped the amygdala for that period of time. So what you did, if you did that exercise with me, is you gave yourself a moment where there was zero worry going on for you. There was zero anxiety. Your body was not throwing out any adrenaline or cortisol. You were just doing what you were focusing on, that task. And so not only in that moment do you feel hopefully refreshed because of that, it's also a way of training yourself to be more present with each task you do in life and not let your attention shift. And by getting better at each thing you're focusing on, just one thing at a time, you will get way more efficient at getting your to-do list done. And then that will feel good too. That's my last little tip for the day.
I love that. I love that. It forces you to be present. Mm-hmm. And that, takes the amygdala out of the equation. I love that. Incorporating the breath and the balance. It's enough of a challenge that you can't be thinking about other things. You have to be focused, and it's training that. So my challenge for everybody watching is to do that drill at least once every day over the next 7 days. Just because otherwise, how often do you get great ideas like this that are potentially life-changing, but then, the next day comes and you just carry on with life as usual. And
that's right.
And then you jump on the next clickbait that's about stress relief, quick tip kind of thing, right? But how often do we actually put it into practice? And so that's the difference. So Andrea, what is the best way for people to connect with you, to learn more from you? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it your website?
Yeah, the best way is if you can find me anywhere. You can find I'm going to put in the chat. You guys all saw my name, but you'll see me on Facebook. You'll see me on Instagram. I have a Facebook group called The Way Insiders, and because my book is The Way In, that you could join. And especially if you told me you were from here, that would be awesome, because I actually do, believe it or not, I have a team that helps me, but I know everybody. I really try to know people that follow me and that message me and stuff, especially if you ever message me. And then I have my website is super cool. This is annlife.com. And this is where you could find out more about my Shape Up Body Mind program. That is the real deal. This is really what I specialize in, which is like the stuff we learned here today. It's a coaching program to help people lose between 12 to 20 pounds in 6 weeks. And that is the snowball for the rest of their life. Like they get on it, it works, but it is not, it is a lifestyle. Like where I told you, I eat all the foods. Like I eat the pizza, steak and is like my favorite food. And like, I love French fries. I eat potato chips every day of my life. And like, I teach people, we find out how your body works best. We come up with these strategies. Like I made this one up literally today for a client before that is in the Shape Up Body Mind program. And I was like, hey, I'll do that today in this group. And it's fascinating. This program is, it is so effective. It shocked me with how much more effective it is than when I was even training in person one-on-one with people. It's incredible, right? It's so funny. So, and I know Jaron he's working online as well with folks. Like, it's amazing how small the world's become and how awesome it is. Like somebody like me to be able to like know people all over the place and really help them level up in ways they don't even expect. And it's like in a really time sensitive ways and in ways that are really personal and customized. So please check out the Shape Up Body Mind program if you are interested in anything we're doing here. It is a permanent customized lifestyle solution that this is the program that is just incredibly successful. There are so many clients that are tried everything and couldn't get themselves to where they wanted to be. Plus they're stressed out on the path. And it's honestly, I mean, I'm straight up with you. You make up things like you're a professional, and I've learned so much over my life, and you do what you start to learn, and you put things into place that you hope are going to be the best for people. And when you see these lives changing and you see this happening with person after person after person, there was a research study done on my program with 47 men and women across the country. I never even met them. They didn't even get my help. This was just the program. And like, it was like set up like a company, like an HR program. 93% of them completed the program. 100% of them achieved physical well-being improvements and improved on 5 mental wellness measures. It was astonishing. I was hoping 4 people would complete the program. I was hoping for 10%, and I got 93% and 100% improvement across the board. It was incredible.
Well, that just shows that it works, because we stick with things that work. And when you feel the difference, like I feel different, I feel better, I feel empowered, I feel more resilient.
Yeah.
Just from the few minutes that we spent together practicing this, right? And so if this gave value to any of you watching, please share this training. The replays available in the RX Movement and Mobility group. If you found Andrea helpful, follow her on her channels and connect with her. She has a ton more to offer you in her private Facebook group or in her programs if you want to make that bigger commitment to yourself, and you deserve it. Right?
You definitely do. And there's so much, and I do. And for people who are like, okay, I spent my every last thing on this. Well, first of all, just know I work with everybody. I know I'm a Beverly Hills trainer. We make it work. My heart is in helping people lift themselves. I don't know. So don't worry about that. If you're ready to prioritize yourself, we'll get in and get it going. And the other thing is that, definitely share, because even just the tips in this video could be something that just helps somebody through a really hard time. And mental well-being is such a problem right now. And so many people keep so much inside, and they might not even tell you that they're hurting. And we want to try to lift everybody we possibly can.
Thank you, Andrea. This was awesome.
Thank you.
Look forward to seeing more from you. And for those of you
Absolutely.
watching, if you have other topics that you'd like to see, I'm going to try to bring you more experts like Andrea to solve problems, take life and fitness to the next level. So have a great day and
Awesome.
Merry Christmas to everyone. Bye.
Bye.